What up my champions in training, Remus here. Welcome back to Fire and Fighting, the channel where we're going to speak boxing motivation as well as boxing psychology. In this video, we're going to speak about what it means to be a champion, but not so much in the way that you've probably thought about or even heard about before. If you've watched HBO boxing back in the day, right, and you've heard Larry Merchant, right, you've probably heard him use the phrase, imposing your will. We're going to speak a bit about what that means, right? We're also going to be talking about setting your own reality. So this means a person dominating the direction of an interaction or submitting to the reality of the other person. So let's get straight into it. In any two interactions, there's always one person, right? One person or more reacting to another person. So there's always one person that's in control of the direction of that interaction and one person who is accepting it. One person is setting the tone and one person is almost accepting the tone. The person who's dominating is actually maybe doing, it doesn't have to be verbal, it could be physical or mental, but the other person is doing exactly what they want to do and the other person is in a way accepting what the other person wants to do. Even if it's not the case that they don't like, it's not that you dislike it or anything like that. So there's always that one person who is setting the tone of the interaction, which is usually the highest status person, and that is the key. The highest status person is usually dominating the interaction because they're doing exactly what they want to do, and the other person is accepting it, right? And it doesn't have to be purely in a logical manner. So say for example, you ask someone a question and they answer. That's not actually being in reaction mode. It relates more to if they're emotionally or spiritually reacting to what the other person wants instead of what they want, especially in the cases where you're being challenged. So if you're being challenged, right, your values or belief systems are being challenged, do you shake or do you waver, or are you confident in what you say so you can accept what another person says and still not actually be reactive, right? This is about being comfortable enough in yourself, comfortable enough in what you bring to the table and what your values are, so much so that you don't have to react when it's being challenged by another person. So how does this actually relate to boxing? We're going to relate it now. So for a champion, what it actually means, simply, in the simplest terms, for a champion it means, does he impose his will on the other fighter? Does he do exactly what he wants to do in the ring, and he doesn't allow the other person to do what they want, so the other person is actually reacting to them, if that makes sense? The greatest example of this I can think of off the top of my head is Bob Foster. I think he's actually the guy who made, the light bulb came on after I was watching him, right? Bob Foster, the light heavyweight champion in the 70s, who defended the title 14 times. I don't know if that was a record at the time, but he defended the title 14 times. And in that period, if you've ever watched Bob Foster, you'll notice that he's very, very dominant. Everything that he wants to do, he does. Everything that his opponent wants to do, he doesn't allow. He wants to land a jab, a right, a combination, he's able to do it. His opponent wants to land the same thing and he's not able to do it. Why is that? That's because Bob Foster is a champion who's able to really impose his will. He's able to do exactly what he wants to do in the ring and stop what the other guy wants to do in the ring. And this is exactly what I would suggest for you in all of your interactions, whether it be verbal, physical, mental, in the ring or out the ring. Think about this. Think about being so comfortable that you know that you're going to prevail, or you know that your values are so right, you believe in it, so that you don't have to be in reaction mode ever. You don't have to have your challenges you don't have to have your beliefs challenged and you get a bit overly emotional about it. You don't have to be in the ring and someone presents a challenge to you and you get overly emotional about it because you're insecure possibly about what the outcome will be. Will it be the outcome that you want? Maybe not, but what if it will? And that if you're really confident you're going to be someone who believes that it is going to happen, whatever you want to happen, you know is going to happen, you're going to find a way. So that's what I would suggest for you. So let's talk another great example of this, right? Sugar Ray Leonard, one of the greatest guys at psychological warfare in boxing history, I would say. he said in 1987, April, when he faced Marvin Hagler, right, that he was in the ring when they was doing the introductions, right before the fight had started. He was walking towards Marvin Hagler, right? Imagine this, walking towards marvelous Marvin Hagler with that beard and that bald head and that granite chin, right? You're walking towards the guy that's screaming, "War 2," right? And he said to himself, as he's walking towards him, if Marvin Hagler decides, right, that he's gonna turn the other way as Sugar Ray Leonard walks to him, that means he knows he's won the fight. But if he walks towards Marvin Hagler and Marvin allows him to have contact with him, right, then he's gonna think, oh, it's a long fight. Maybe this is a fight which I'm not gonna be so confident about, right? So as he's walking towards Marvin, right, he's walking towards him, and he thought, yeah, he's gonna move. But he's getting closer and closer, and Hagler's not moving. But eventually, right, he says to himself, abort, I don't know if this is gonna work. But right at the last second, Hagler changes his direction and goes the other way. And at that point, he was in reaction mode. See, the thing is, even if you're not trying to react, technically you're reacting because you're doing something that you don't actually want to do yourself. It's not something that you're very comfortable. It's not something that you actually want to do. You're doing it because another person influenced it. So that's reaction mode, right? So that's just one thing that I would suggest for you. Seek to be so comfortable in yourself that you never need to be in reaction to someone else. So that's it from me. Hope you gained a little bit of insight or a little bit of knowledge from this video. And I hope to see you in the next one. That's Remus signing out.